What's up, everybody? Welcome to the NFL show on the Sauter on Sports Podcast Network. I am Mark Sauter. He is Joe. It is good to be back. I don't know why, Joe. We do this every week. We talk football. And I feel like it's been longer than a week. I don't know if that's just my life. It feels like I haven't seen you in forever. It's been a week. It really hasn't been that long. Maybe it's just whatever. Thanksgiving weekend up here in Canada. So happy belated Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope you had a great time, a safe time, enjoying tons and tons of sports. Should be a beautiful time in baseball land, but hey, the baseball show's back tomorrow, and we'll get into it. Already down 2-0, my beloved Blue Jays. Already not in the series. I'm talking like tonight, like right now. They are down as we speak.
Shot.
Yeah, good old Julio. So. But anyway, thank you to everybody for joining us once again on Total Apex Sports, Total Apex Sports Media. We are always so grateful to be joined or to be on their platform. Really appreciate it. As you all know, basketball season starts next week. Football, baseball, hockey, all ongoing. Lots and lots in the sports world, in the betting world and fantasy world. Also, they have you covered over there at totalapexsports.com. They have a health website. They talk fitness, they talk lifestyle, they talk pop culture, gaming, TV shows, the whole deal. Total Apex Sports, Total Apex Media. We appreciate them. Also, this show brought to you by First Round Collectibles. Right now with promo code SPORTS10, get 10% off whatever sports card you want in the entire First Round Collectibles store. They have an ongoing sale, like I said, up to 50% off. And like right now with our promo code SPORTS10, not only 10% off of regular priced items, but sales items as well. That's up to 60% off multiple sports cards in the First Round Collectibles store. So go to firstroundcollectibles.com today, promo code SPORTS10 for 10% off your order and up to 60% off selected cards. All right, good to be back. Crazy week. I remember saying this in like the preseason shows where it felt like all of a sudden football was just here. Like usually it's like, oh man, I can't wait till football's back. And this year it just felt like it was just like, boom, football's back. Well, boom, it's week 7 already. Almost. If this was a few years ago, then we would have been halfway through the season almost, right? And we are still kind of almost there. Already week 7, lots to get to from week 6. And we're going to talk some betting in for week 7 like we always do. And Joe, I'll just be straight up with you and with our beautiful, wonderful viewers and or listeners. This has been a crazy week for me, man. And today, I was in the hospital with my daughter all day getting tests done. It wasn't a surprise thing. This was planned. So everything's okay. She's great, but the whole day, my wife and I in the hospital, rushing home. It's just been a long week, bro. So I need to listen to you talk to me about week 6 just to get my blood flowing, to get my mojo going. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I just need that warm up. It's like listening to you is like a 10-minute treadmill walk. You know what I mean? Just kind of get the blood flowing, get the juices going. So with that, crazy week in the NFL, as it always is. I feel like, I mean, there's always great storylines and there's always great moments. I felt like overall there was some pretty bad football this week. I feel like, I don't know, like this number is off the top of my head. This is not going through each game and doing the math, but it feels like 75% of the games were not great football this week. But there's always stuff to talk about, always some storylines attached. So what do you got, man? Week 5 or week 6? What caught your attention in the week that was?
Listen, just this Monday, um, I caught the Falcons Bills game, and I've really got to say that something that's opened
Oh man,
is that Falcons team, that defense, pretty for real, pretty for real. Statistically speaking, they're in the top 10 in both passing defense and rushing defense. Number 1 in
yeah,
pass defense. Um, so if that offense would ever get it together as far as the balance that they're looking for between using Penix's acute accuracy and all the weapons around him, forming this offense in the image of Bijan Robinson, I got to tell you, the Bucks are going to have to be even more locked in. Like they're locked in, but they're also a walking infirmary on the offensive side of the football. So any kind of drop off from them, and the Falcons could be dangerous to them winning the NFC South. So that's something that I thought was very interesting. But the AFC standings, I gotta tell you, Colts, Steelers, and Chargers, 1, 2, and 3. Is Rivers the quarterback? Is Tom Brady back? It's like these are standings that I haven't seen since Rivers, since Roethlisberger, and since Brady were quarterbacking these teams. So
oh yeah, man. 2006 called, bro.
hey, listen, sometimes retro's in. And right now, retro teams are leading divisions right now. And I think it's very interesting to see that given, we're 6 weeks in now, right? We're going into week 7. We're gonna cap week 7. But like think about it in the sense that you're looking at a Colts team who've been much maligned off and on since the departure of Andrew Luck and his retirement, looking for a guy to be the guy at quarterback. And look, they get one of our cast-offs, one of our beloved Giant cast-offs leading the way at quarterback in Daniel Jones. So it's like, it's you wish you think they would say that, oh yeah, this is exactly how we drew it up. But I think there's a lot of people in the collective consciousness in football that did not see the Patriots leading the AFC East, the Colts leading the South, and even to a certain extent, the Steelers leading the North. Everybody who can breathe and watch football would have had the Ravens in that spot, but here we are. The past is present again, and I'm very interested to see how this ends up. But those are the things that stood out to me. It's kind of like the 2010s all over again right now with what I'm looking at the standings.
Yeah. So I'm interested in this a lot. When you're talking about, can you hear me okay, by the way? Are you all right over there? You
Yeah, I
got
got
me?
yeah.
Yeah. So I was watching that game on Monday night, amidst all the other, chaos. Hockey's back, baseball's doing what baseball does this time of year. And I'm watching that game and I'm thinking back to the Eagles game on Thursday night. And, both teams, Eagles and the Bills, started 4-0. And, the Eagles, this has been the way that the Eagles have been for the last few years, where they're 4-0, but it's a very, not great 4-0. You can pick apart certain things or whatever. Where the Buffalo Bills, they just didn't look dominant. Like that game 1 win against Baltimore was heroic and very flashy, but there was no moments, and like the teams like that they beat weren't overly impressive, to be honest with you. So now you have both teams who began 4-0, and they're now both 4-2. And I was thinking about this, and I know this is like a little bit lofty, but FanDuel has 12 plus wins. All right, regular season wins. Now I think, Buffalo, the Eagles, I think, Kansas City, Detroit, obviously Baltimore, that's not going to happen. But before the season started, Green Bay, those are kind of the teams that you would circle as these are the teams that could get past 12 plus wins now. Now, if you lost 2 games, right? 4-2, that means that you have the best, or if you want to hit 12 wins, you can only lose 3 more games, right? That's obvious. That's just math. That's nothing too crazy. That's just math. Right?
Yeah.
I was about to say something really profound, but really it's not that at all. It's very quite simple. So I'm going to lay it out for you here. FanDuel, the top 6 teams. Let's see if you can just guess top of your head. I didn't prep you for this at all.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just see if you can guess the top 3 teams as far as odds go for 12 plus wins right now in the NFL. Let's see if you can guess the top 3.
I don't know if they'd give it to Tampa, but I mean they started 5-1, so I'm thinking Tampa would be on that list. I'm thinking the Colts, for the same reason, would be on that list. Believe it or not, I think the Eagles would still be on that list. Because they play in the East.
Yeah.
I would give the Lions, albeit they did come off a rough one here recently, but I think they may be on the list just because of how they finished last season. And I guess my other 2 would be the Packers and the Chargers. Because I don't think the books would have the Steelers in there even with their start.
I think you had 3 right.
Okay.
4 out of the 6 you had on there.
Okay.
Number one, I don't know if you just kind of forgot this one or if you actually don't believe, but the Buffalo Bills are still the favorite to have 12 plus wins. They're minus 155.
Fair. That's fair.
The Bucks are next, minus 125 to get to 12 plus wins. Minus 125, even with all of their guys getting hurt, coming back, and then getting hurt again, they still are minus 125. Now, once again, on this show, we tend to look through schedules and all that. I'm not going to get super deep, like into the weeds. If you're going to bet it, I would recommend going and looking at the schedule and coming to conclusions on your own. We're just kind of talking here. Number 3 is the Detroit Lions. You got that one, plus 125. 4 is the Packers at plus 125. And when I was talking about the Bills and the Eagles, I left out the Packers. The Packers don't look particularly great right now. They had an awesome 2-0 start, and since then, man, it has looked uninspiring to me. Anyway, I wasn't high or low. I think what I said a few times before the season start was I like their roster. I like this team, but I don't love this team.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of feel still. Number 5 is the Colts. You got that one. Maya plus 135. At plus 150, number 6 is the Chiefs. Still, which I find interesting.
That's an enormous amount of faith.
To me, honestly, dude, when it comes to the Chiefs, and I say this every week, I'm sure there's some like super nerdy guy who like knows how these books operate, and he's like calling
Yeah.
me stupid right now. But to me, that's just protection. It's the Chiefs. Like you're
Yeah.
not going to make that like those odds super crazy. Next, so that's the top 6. To round out the top 10, you have the Rams at plus 155, the
Okay.
Eagles plus 175, the Niners at plus 180. That despite their good record, you're talk about like players going out, man. A superstar on that team gets hurt every week. Number 9, you have the Patriots at plus 220. And number 10 is the Chargers at plus 250. There's certain aspects to that list that I find super, super interesting. And I feel like with the Eagles, I could wax poetic about the Eagles. I think they'll be fine. We're going to talk about the Eagles later in the show. I think they'll be okay. I'm not overly concerned about it. The AJ Brown drama, I don't love, but he's a number 1 receiver in the NHL or in the NHL, the NFL. So, like, oh, a number 1 receiver is being a diva. How odd is that? Wow,
Right.
that's so weird. I'm really not worried about it. But to have the Patriots on there, and I know this in plus 220 odds, that's like long shot like
Yeah.
territory. But for the Patriots to be in the top now, I will say the 10th place Chargers plus 250, and by 10th place, I mean 10th place on the list of to get 12 plus wins, plus 250. The Broncos are plus 1250, and the Seahawks are also plus 250 as well. So those 3 teams are kind of tied for the 10 spot
Yeah.
for teams to get to 12 plus wins. But
I
I
think
found this like really
I think that makes
fascinating.
sense. Honestly, I think that makes sense. If you look at the Patriots and you look at the Chargers, basically they're giving them the respect for how they started, but they also understand that there are stalwarts of the divisions they belong to who have better odds in the Chiefs and the Bills. So history suggests that the Chiefs and the Bills will figure it out, and they probably have a better chance to reach that number just because of continuity, just because of um, uh, history suggesting that. And if you look at the Chiefs, they just had back-to-back games to where you're like, oh, are they back? Like, are they for real? For real? Like, where like are we because Detroit isn't exactly a schlub, right? So in them winning that game, and not only so much as them winning the game, but the manner in which they won the game made it suggest to the books like, oh, they might be figuring it out. And now they're getting Rasheed Rice back. Oh, they could be figuring it out. So that's when I look at that, that's where I understand where the Chargers and the Patriots are, because history doesn't suggest that they would even win their division, much less get to that number in wins. But they also are respecting the fact that they are really good record wise right now. And the Patriots just picked up a win over the Bills. So when you think about that, that's also them giving them respect there in regard to that. So it's respect given for what they've done, but also understanding that the dogs could still be the dogs in the Chiefs and the Bills. And they are also respecting the history.
And I think as the Blue Jays tie the game 2-2, let's go Birds. If I gotta say too, like I think this is a perfect spot for the Pats. Perfect spot for the Pats. And it's I like it as somebody who has no like dog in the fight. I don't care at all. Speaking of dog in the fight, sorry, just a second. Did you hear what Jonathan Gannon said?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, I was like, wow, Mike's just catching a stray. He's just trying to coach his college team, and he
you remember
drops that.
do you remember
Yeah,
exactly what the question was? Because it was something like about
yeah,
turmoil with your number one quarterback.
yeah. So basically, I think the framing of the question was basically has he ever been part of a situation where like your number one QB is in such question where like your season can kind of like teeter, and like
Yeah.
the whole concept of how the team's
Yeah,
going to move
how
forward is
early in your
completely
career?
changed.
Yeah, how early in your career did you have a situation like that? Right, that's basically
Yeah,
what he asked, and
yeah,
he just point blank is like when our quarter when number 7 went to prison.
yeah.
It's
That
like,
was
oh
that
my
was
gosh,
insane.
damn
I put
it,
that in the group chat and I was like, bro,
dude,
why is Mike Vick taking this straight right now?
Vic. Listen, man, that was awful. What happened, right? Vic literally, like we just like he literally went to jail. Like he
Yeah,
literally like paid his dues. He was out of the spotlight for a while. Like
eh,
what was it? Like 5 years later, he comes back, he plays again, has a couple really good seasons.
really super
That
good seasons
was
with the Eagles. Yeah,
watching him with the Eagles. What was that? 2010 or 11 with the Eagles?
yeah,
With like
somewhere around there. It was like after they had their like Kevin Cobb experience. Like
yeah, I
there's
can't
a couple
remember
guys in
exactly,
there.
but
It
like,
was a transition from McNabb out, and like
yeah,
who were they going to push after that?
I'll never forget the very first game he played against the Washington then Redskins. Like blew them out like 50 something to
Oh my
7. Like
God, he
just
had
destroyed them.
6 touchdowns. The first play
Dude,
off rip, Deshaun Jackson in a
woo!
bucket, a
Oh,
dime, 75 yards down the field. That ball, just the
yeah,
trajectory, you're just like, this is so far. This
it
ball is
was,
so far. And it's just,
well,
boop.
and that was the thing
Yeah,
about Michael Vick was that not only could he run, we all know that he could run. That's
yeah,
what he's known for is he could run. But that guy could literally over a span of like 100 yards, he could literally throw as far as he wanted.
yeah,
Like he could literally throw the ball the length of the field if he had to. Like it
yeah.
was just remarkable. So anyway, this
So
guy
good.
pays his dues, goes to jail, comes back, does what he does. Now he's in the media and he's, you
A
know,
coach. He's a
it,
coach now of a college team, which was
oh,
in my brain. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's gonna suck for recruiting. Like, why would you even? Now, granted, he didn't mention them by name, but you don't have to do enough. You don't have to do a whole lot of digging to find out that Jonathan
oh.
Gannon was on that Falcon staff. And like,
I mean,
and
listen, man.
what really kills me, just real quick. What
Yeah.
really kills me about that is he said it like we should have known that he was on that staff. Like we should have known
Well,
that
dude,
a bajillion years ago, my dude.
that's the funny thing, man, is that I had no idea. Like I can't remember what I was listening to the radio. Yeah, I think I was listening to radio, and they played that press conference, and when he said that, I was like, I like you coach the Falcons? Like I had no idea. He doesn't look that old. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't look
He
like
had to have been a baby then, because I don't
yeah,
think he's that old now. So
that's what I mean. It's like
yeah,
I'm like 36 and he doesn't look like he's substantially older than I was. I would have been almost 20 around that time. So I don't know. It's hilarious, dude. I thought that was so funny.
so he's
Anyway,
only
why did
2
I
years
bring that
older
up?
than me. So
Why did I bring up Jonathan Gannon? Oh, I said something about dog. Oh yeah. Wow, that really took a tailspin. I said I have no dog in the fight with the
yeah,
AFC East.
yeah,
And that turned into
yeah, dog.
Jonathan
Yeah,
Gannon.
I say yeah.
Like,
It wasn't that hard of a leap, to be
no,
honest.
I can't believe he said that, dude. What a
I
guy.
can't believe he said that either.
Dude, unbelievable. Anyway,
Wow.
but I like competition. I like
Yeah.
seeing greatness. I like seeing a team dominate. That's why I love the Patriots back in the day. Again, I don't care. I just love seeing greatness. I just love seeing great players win. So I like seeing the Buffalo Bills have success. However, that division's been a wash since
Yeah.
Tom Brady left.
I
And I
agree.
just want to see some sort of
Yeah.
something. The Jets suck. The Dolphins are a gong show. That whole Tua thing, that guy needs to either stick to stick to what you
Yeah.
say, stick to the truth, or shut your mouth. Because you said what you said, and what you said was very hard to say, oh yeah, I was just joking. Like, no, man, like you said what you said about like players being late to meetings and all this stuff. I like that he said that at the press conference. I like it because you know what? Players need to be called out sometimes. Like they need like their leader, their
Yeah.
quarterback stepping up to the microphone and saying what's happening in this dressing room is
Yeah.
not cool. I like that. So to go back and take it back, all that to say, and you can chime on this in a second,
Yeah.
but all that to say, I love this season for the Pats because the Pats are a team that you cannot sleep on. It's not in like the hockey world, we call it guaranteed 2-point night, right? There's
Mhm.
like it's like scheduled 2 points, guaranteed win night. Um, like the Pats aren't that anymore, man. This is a good football team. They're going in the right direction. And what I love is if they miss the playoffs, they go 9-8, they miss the playoffs, which 9-8 in the AFC might be a 6 seed the way we're going. But if they miss the playoffs, but they're 9-8, that's fine. Like you sold hope. You don't need a top draft pick. You don't need a top 3 draft pick, right? Like you have your quarterback. There's issues in the running game, and like there are problems, but I think that a successful season is still mattering in like week 15. Like if their games still matter week 15, whether they make it, they don't make it, I think that's
Yeah.
successful. And I love what I'm seeing from that team.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% in agreement there. Like I'm looking at that team and thinking about, you know, having an adult in the room is what they needed. And I think Vrabel was the right guy to have an adult in the room. You look at what's happened to the Titans since he's left and what he's doing with the Patriots since he's been on board. Who was the real problem there, right? So for me, they made a massive investment um on kind of both sides of the ball if you think about it with what they paid Diggs. They're getting some contributions from some young guys, Keyshawn Butte. He's looking like a
Booty.
he's looking like a legit dude. Like he's looking like a legit dude. And I saw him in preseason. I thought, man, the name is a vibe. Like his 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 skill is a vibe. Like and they had a whole bunch of guys ahead of him last year, even after that preseason that he had. And I'm like, yo, what are we doing? What are we doing? I said the same thing about Scadaboo when I saw the depth chart before the season, and I'm like, why are we not playing him ahead of Singletary? Like, what are we even doing? What are we even doing right now? And look at him now. So to see him like kind of like take 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 advantage of his opportunities. I think they're still looking for a guy, but I
Yeah,
don't think they're going to sell the house to get a guy, if that makes sense, because of what Diggs has done so far this season, and because of his Kayshawn's kind of like ascension, so to speak. I don't think they're gonna like sell the house like say maybe the Giants, right? Because we're absent anybody right now. I don't think they're going to sell a house to get a guy because I think he's starting to come along. So when I look at that and look at what was thought of them before the season, I'm like this, and that huge game against Buffalo, I'm saying to myself, it would be nice if games mattered to them in December and January.
Yes.
It would be nice to see the Chargers really legit give the Chiefs a run for their money in the AFC West. It would be nice to see that still be in doubt in December and January. To your point.
100%, man. I completely agree. And I mean, like, to kind of segue it a little bit, because I heard some people talking about how like that win against Buffalo was more of a Buffalo loss than a Patriots win. And I've been known to ride that train too. I'm a big believer in that. Like, sometimes like teams lose a game, and the team that won the game was a beneficiary of the team. Like, for example, the Titans won win. That, yes, the Titans came back. Yes, the Titans did what they had to do, like, to win. But that was the Cardinals losing the football game, right?
Yeah.
And finally, the Titans fire their coach. I don't know what they were waiting for. That doesn't even have to be talked about. Although I think that has the potential to be a really fun, bad team if they can just loosen up and have a coach who knows what he's doing. I think they can be a really fun, bad team. In like the hockey world, was watching Pittsburgh, the Penguins face the Ducks last night, and not that the Ducks are going to be a bad team, but probably not a playoff team. And I'm watching these two teams, and man, these are two really fun bad teams, and that's how I think the Titans like can be really fun bad team. But anyway, but I think the Pats they just won a really hard fought division battle, and the Pats, I would say, compared to the Colts, the Pats were probably looked at in a better light than the Colts were, right? Even though a lot of people like us picked the under for the Pats, I feel like there was still a lot of like optimism for how this season could go. 7-10 is a successful season. 6-10, 6-11, as long as like Drake May plays well and whatever, then they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Where the Colts, almost everybody, like 95% of the people that I consume, and myself included, were just out on the Colts. And what they're doing right now, man, I know they beat the Cardinals. I get it. And, Jacoby Brissett, who actually had a pretty good game.
Had a really good game.
Yeah.
320s. I can't remember the last time Kyler Murray had 320.
Yeah. So this has to come up now, man. The Colts, like, I've seen what I need to see. You made the comment about the Falcons at the top of the show, saying that the Falcons could be frisky if Tampa Bay's injury or whatever. Now, after they got shut out to the Panthers, I said that I was out on the Falcons, and I will remain out on the Falcons. And not because I'm right, just because I'm just like stubborn, and I said what I said, and I'm just gonna stay on it. You know what I mean? But no, man, like the Colts, dude, just like I'm out on the Falcons, the Colts, I'm all in on this team, man. And I'm looking at the AFC, and it is wide open, like, to me. Like, yes, you have like the Bills are the Bills. They're stubbing their toe a little bit right now, but the Bills are the Bills. The Chiefs, like, they're coming, Terrific game Sunday night, and like you said, Rashid Rice is coming back. But why aren't the Colts in that like why can't they be like in that conversation for the top of like the conference, like top 3 seeds? I think like they're absolutely like what I've been watching from them, even when Danny Dimes isn't terrific, they score 30 points. Like they just find a way to score points. And I don't think he was brilliant by any means the other day, but that team just finds a way to score points. Their defense is okay. Jonathan Taylor is like reborn. That Warren kid is a stud. I think it's a good football team, man. And I don't remember the last time I was so wrong, but the collective football media was just everyone was just so wrong about one team. It's really fascinating.
Well, I mean, so this goes back to using the past as precedent, right? So a lot of when we're staking hopes on teams and what their projections are is going to be who's at the quarterback position. And we saw AR as a starter for the Colts. We saw Daniel Jones as a starter for the Giants.
Yeah.
And there was
Yes,
no
we did.
conceivable reason to think that this team would do anything with either one of those quarterbacks at the helm. Now, what could not have been foreseen is the fearlessness and the command that Daniel Jones would have over Steichen's offense. We knew it was going to be a fit just because of his mobility and his size, um, and what he's able to do when protected. Um, we knew that to be true, but we hadn't seen it in such a long time that we had no reason to believe that he was just going to come in year one on his, prove it deal. Take over the position first, because he had to win the position first, right? And then secondly, just take charge of this locker room. And there's like a genuine kind of like love for what he's doing out there, the redemption aspect of it. And you know, uh, it's great to watch the Pat McAfee show again, because the Colts are doing great, and it's always great when the Colts are doing good to see him enjoying the Colts doing good because he's a tried and true, like he loves his team.
Oh yeah. Big
Um,
time.
but it's been brutal the last 3 years to watch what's happened to this team, and then even more brutal last year with the whole AR tapping out, and then the Flacco and that whole deal. At least the first season, they had Minshew in there, and they were one bad pass to the flat from beating the Texans and winning the division. But this last year, it was brutal to the fact that he had like a 1,000 word essay on his X account as to why he's pissed off and why he believes that this team is ass and why he believes that this is happening, and it just like just on the precipice of disowning this team. On the precipice of saying I'm done with this team. To see what they're doing now, it's just really cool, and proof that when you win games, it heals a lot. And all that stuff we heard about guys being late to meetings and this, that, and the other, like that whole narrative that Steichen and Chris Ballard couldn't feel the team that was worthy of the Indianapolis fans. They're figuring it out. They're figuring it out. And they invested on the defense, and they got a quarterback who actually knows what they're doing. So good on them.
Yes, I 100% agree. I'm trying to pull up. I need to pull this. Okay. I completely agree. All right. We're gonna move on to our best bets in just a moment. I'm gonna ask you 2 questions before we do that. First is, and let me just pull this up. The Toronto Blue Jays have ended the inning with the lead. What was this? Have ended the inning with a lead for the first time since the 5th of game 1. I thought that stat was going to be a lot more compelling. I thought it was going to be like freaking like way back. But yeah, 5-2 Jays. Yeah, 5-2 Jays heading into the 4th. I'm going to just say this now. Just gonna say this now. Well, actually, Brady, I'm glad that you brought this up because I was about to touch on this. Kind of, not really. Mark, can you please stop talking about the NFL since we need a nightly NHL preview? That's fair. We are going to get back into hockey shows. There's been a lot going on, doing a lot of shows, doing a lot of different content, with like my writing and whatever. And I got a family, so there's been a lot going on. We will be getting back into NFL show or into hockey shows. But Brady, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. EST on this platform, Total Apex Media, and on my YouTube, Pucks Across Borders will be reunited. And we will be talking about baseball tomorrow night. Me and Andre and my buddy Tom, who's been doing the baseball show with me for the last month. We will be here tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Like I said, on my X, on Total Apex Sports X, and on YouTube. And Andre, love Andre. Him and I did, and the daily betting show that Brady is referring to, him and I did a show together for like 3 seasons, and it was a lot of fun. Love the guy. He's moved on with his career, and I'm doing my thing, and so we can't do the show anymore, but we're still good friends, and he's a brother. And I can't wait to be back with him tomorrow. That's going to be so much fun. So yeah, I can't wait for that.
For sure.
Yeah, Brady. Yeah, so we won't be talking hockey, but we'll be talking baseball, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, what the frig was I talking about? Okay. I told you, man, it's been a week. My head's just friggin' squirrely. I'm like friggin' bright lights. All right. San Francisco 49ers plus 160 to win the West. They are 4-2. The Los Angeles Rams are plus 160 as well to win the West at plus 160, 4-2. The Seattle Seahawks are also 4-2. They're plus 250 to win the West. I know that we kind of talked about this. Last week. Mm-hmm. I love the Seahawks to win the division, man. At plus 250. I think the Rams are the smart choice, the sharp choice, as they say in the betting world. I think the Niners, listen, man, they're 4-2. They still got talented players, but at some point, you got to think that all of these injuries are going to catch up to them. It's just inevitable, man. Like, they brought 2 key players back, like, on that defense, and they were the superstars of the defense, and they're both gone. I just can't see a world. Brock Purdy is hurt, then healthy, then hurt. Mac Jones, I think, like you said this last week, he is like custom made for a Kyle Shanahan offense. And he's, playing fine. But right now, it's between the Rams and the Seahawks in my mind. And watching these two teams, the Rams should have beat the Ravens by 1,000,000. I sat Justin Herbert in my fantasy for Matt Stafford because they were playing Baltimore. And like, you won 17-3. Okay. They should have beat them by 1,000,000. I didn't think they looked very good. And I don't know, man. The Seahawks team, they just find a way to put points on the board. Their defense is fine. It's not, it's nothing to write home about. But they have talent. I think certainly when we find out the future of Nakua, that is going to be a huge part to play in all of this. But right now, man, my favorite for this division is the Seahawks, and you're giving me plus 250 value still. And listen, I'm not saying that the Rams, shouldn't be favored, but to me, that's a big difference, man. And uh, I'll bite.
Yeah, I mean, they have both of their games against each other still left on the schedule. One thing that um, Seahawks did lose, unfortunately, to the Niners the first time around, and they don't play again until the last game of the season. So um, we don't know what either team's health is going to be by then. But they still have both games against the Rams, and they do have a second game with the 49ers at the tail end of the season. So that's going to be interesting. Could be deciding factors in how they move forward. But yeah, I mean they're right there. Very very winnable games. I think Arizona's a team that um, the inconsistency is going to end up biting them. They have the Titans still left on their schedule, but they got a really tough 4 game stretch between 13 and 17. That's very interesting. They've got Minnesota, Atlanta, the Colts, and the Rams in that 4 game stretch. And I think
Yeah,
that's going
that
to
is
largely
impressive.
decide, where they end up or how close they are to the division or playoff seeding by the time they hit those 3 games at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I did have another question for you, but we're gonna move on to our best bets. Everybody, you know what? This has been a really fun show. I was just being honest, whatever. I'm just talking. I was nervous about it because, yeah, today was, you know, very long day and there's a lot going on. And I wasn't sure how how I would do it, but it's been a great show. Thank you to everybody for watching on Total Apex Media and on my accounts. Really, really appreciate it as always. Before we get into best bets, this is the time that we remind you that Best Bets is brought to you by, or are brought to you by. I should probably know that as a writer. I should probably know that, but I digress. Total Apex Sports and Total Apex Media. For hockey season, full swing. Basketball season next week. Football, full swing. Baseball playoffs. We're getting close to the finish line. Everything you need to know at Total Apex Sports. Betting, fantasy, or if you're just a normal fan with no vices and want to learn about the game, you can do that too. They have a health website. They talk lifestyle, fitness. They talk, I think they have like horoscopes and just whatever you want. They have it. They talk gaming. They talk TV shows. They talk pop culture. They talk it all. Total Apex Sports, Total Apex Media. Also, first round collectibles. Right now with our promo code SPORTS10, get 10% off whatever sports card you want in the entire first round collectible store. They have an ongoing sale up to 50% off. And with our promo code SPORTS10, not only do you get 10% off of regular priced items, but sales items as well. That is up to 60% off selected cards in the first round collectible store. And I am telling you, you go there, you can find a card for $10. You can find a card for $1,000. They have it all there at firstroundcollectibles.com. My good buddy Chris does a great job over there. So go check it out. Firstroundcollectibles.com, promo code SPORTS10 for up to 60% off your order. All right. Best bets. Joe, Thursday night. It is it's a Thursday nighter. It's a good old-fashioned Thursday nighter. It would have been a good game if certain things in the season went differently, but this is a good old-fashioned Thursday nighter. Pittsburgh minus 5.5 in Cincinnati. Pittsburgh is minus 240 on the money line, plus 198 on the money line for Cincinnati. Over is 44.5. Let's move through these somewhat quickly. How you feeling about this game, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati?
Yeah, my lean here is taking Pittsburgh minus 5.5. I think we know what Flacco is at this stage of his career, and the only way he has a shot is if he's protected, and he's not going to be protected behind that line.
No.
So, because of that, I think they're going to create some distance. Um, and I just at least a touchdown. It's got to be at least a touchdown. For me, the best bet, prop bet is going to be Rodgers over 218 and a half passing yards. Cincinnati is
Ooh,
very weak against the pass,
I like
and
that a
Rodgers
lot.
has been cooking this season. He's incorporating Washington, a huge tight end from Georgia. Love him. He's been getting in the mix. And DK Metcalf's going to go off. It's going to be a great time for them. So yeah, give me Pittsburgh minus 5.5 and Rodgers over his passing yardage total of 218.5.
I like that a lot. And by the way, for everybody, you got to know, my guy Joe, he won't say it because he's humble, but I'll say it for him. He's killing it on these props, 5-1 last week, and he's doing it week after week. So whatever he says, just go with it. Bet them singles and just watch the money pile. Depending on how much you wager, of course. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this simple for me as well. I was scared to take Pittsburgh. I think the spread was 6.5 over Cleveland. I thought that Cleveland defense would do something. It didn't really matter. Pittsburgh found a way to win. I had all these people telling me that Shadur needed to start for Cleveland at the beginning of the season, and they need to play the rookies. And I said they shouldn't play him because he's not in a position to do well. And they're going to ruin him like they've ruined everybody else. And so for Joe Flacco to now be on the Bengals, which that offensive line is even worse. So yeah, I don't have a lot
And they
left
at
to
least
say
had a
on
running game. And at least they had a running game in Cleveland.
at least. All right. Los Angeles Rams at Jacksonville. This should be a really good game. Jacksonville, it makes me so happy, man. I keep thinking, do I not like Jacksonville because I'm stubborn and petty, or are they just not good? And then they had every opportunity to win that game in the fourth quarter against Seattle. That fourth quarter was just punt, 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 punt.
Yeah.
Like they had every opportunity and they couldn't do anything. Frauds, in my opinion. It makes me feel good when my insecurities are validated. -3 for the Rams, -148 on the money line, +126 for the Jags. Over 44.5 is the total. What do you got? LA Rams, Jacksonville. This was your first game, by the way. I totally hijacked that. But this is your first game of the slate.
Yeah, no, my lean here would be the Rams here minus the
Yeah.
points. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did last week, with a -3 number, take down to the -2.5, to avoid the push. Um, I just feel like after the Rams last game, they're gonna want to reestablish themselves as a lead in the NFC West. I think they weren't very impressive last week. I think they got away from some of the things that make them who they are. I think they'll lean into the running game to set up the pass game a little bit more. Uh, I believe they're gonna be without Puka Nakua. So with that being said, my props pick is gonna be the Devontae Adams over on his receiving yards. That
Yeah,
number
that's good.
wasn't out yet, but I do believe he's gonna get the volume along with Jordan Whittington, who's their number 3 wideout, who should definitely get some looks as well. So look at his as well, if you're feeling it. Jaguars, good record, but they are weak against the pass. They can get got as far as yardage is concerned. And I just feel like with the they're in a little bit of a transition there. They just picked up Greg Newsome from the Browns. So I don't know what the similarity is in the system with what the Browns run and what Jaguars are running. I don't know how up to speed he's going to be with the scheme by the time this weekend hits. I don't know if he'll be on a pitch count because of that. But clearly it was a position of need that they're trying to cover there. So will he improve it? I'm not sure. I mean, the Browns were just as willing to give him up, um, to take on the other the corner they sent back. So um, I don't know. He's in a contract year, so he's gonna want to prove it. I just think it's gonna take a week or two before he gets up to speed with what the Jaguars are running. So give me Devontae over the receiving yards. Give me the Rams -2.5.
Yeah, I love that play. I love that play. All right. Let's move on. Quickly, I am going to just give like my couple thoughts on the Eagles here. They're -2.5 in Minnesota, -132 on the money line, +112 are the Vikings. Over 43.5, -106. Under is -114. This is the millionth different offensive coordinator that Jalen Hurts has had in the last decade. We've seen this from the Eagles every year. He's been there. Is they like win games, they look weird, and then they look really weird, and it feels like the bottom's falling off. Now that 10-1 start, and then they backdoored into the playoffs and then got blown out by the Bucks. That was a whole different situation, in my opinion. I think both coordinators were not ready to be coordinators, and that just was bad from the start. But they just had so much talent that they just found ways to win. I'm not worried about it with the Eagles. How long will it take? Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they win ball games and by week 12, 13, we begin to see the Eagles that we all thought that we'd see. I know this is why we love football, is there's only so many games, and so every game is just heightened, and it's like dude, like the Chiefs now the Chiefs are back and they're the best team in the NFL, and we're all fools and they're going to win the Super Bowl. Like, it's like every week it's just a roller coaster ride. And I don't know why anyone's really that shocked at what we're seeing from the Eagles right now. I mean, it should be shocking, but just based on history alone, it's not that crazy right now. I don't feel that way. Now, again, I'm not from Philly. I'm not in Philly. I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm not there in like the thick of it. I don't think we're going to see Saquon only get like 9 touches again. That offensive line is not only like different, but it is banged up. So I'm not worried about it long term. I am taking them to bounce back. I'm just going to take the money line. I know it's only -2.5. Typically, I would take that, but it's been a bit, I don't know, precarious lately. That defense has been leaky, to say the least. So I'll just stick with the money line. -132, still good value. And I'll take the Eagles to win that game. You got something to add there?
I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go the other way.
All right.
If there's a team that the Vikings want to do well against, it's the Eagles for me. I think it's largely going to depend on who's the quarterback. I don't know, to be honest, and I probably should know, where McCarthy is on his recovery, and I may hinge my bet based on who's the quarterback. But if old Carson's going out there against the Eagles, bro,
Oh, dude.
I am taking the Vikings on the money line 1000%. Okay, because if there's one thing that the Eagles are weak in, they do have a leaky second corner situation, but even Quentin Mitchell's been kind of,
big time.
even he's been kind of iffy, but they've been getting gashed in that run game. Okay, they're in the bottom half of the league against the run. And this is why my prop pick this week is going to be Jordan Mason over on his yards of 67.5. He is the first and second down guy. I think Aaron Jones at this stage of his career, I don't know where his health is. I don't know. I don't even know if he's playing, to be honest. But if he is playing, he's definitely the secondary back in this lineup now. Jordan Mason proved himself last season with San Francisco, was able to parlay that into a situation here with the Vikings, and I think him being the lead back and them wanting to control the clock and keep Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley off the field, I think is going to be to their benefit. I think they have the defense to be able to keep him in check. You got to remember, Brian Flores cooks up a mean defense, and there are times where Jalen Hurts is massively confused. And you know what Brian Flores is
Yeah.
going to do? He's going to keep him in the pocket and force him to throw over the middle. And what does he not like to do? Stay in the pocket and throw across the middle. So I think based on that, it's going to make life very difficult for the Eagles to the point where I think they get them by a field goal.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, nothing you said is wrong. I think Carson Wentz, that's going to be a really fun storyline. That's just one of those things, man, where it's like you break up with a girl, it's really toxic, and it's just like, you were together for a while, and it was some like it started out well, but the ending was just so bad that you just forget all about the good times. And now it's what, like 4 years later, and you can kind of look back and say, you know what, man, like we had some fun. It's better that we're apart, but we had some fun. And I think that's where we're at with the Carson Wentz story. Now the fact that it's in Minnesota, I think it's just good for his overall mental health. Like I think if it was in Philly,
Yeah, the link is not a fun place to play.
No, dude, I think that would be. And like I said, I'm not from Philly. I'm a diehard Eagles fan. I have been for like 26 years. However, I have been to the link a few times, and so I can speak on experience from that one. It's a gong show. All right, let's move on. Indianapolis and the Chargers. That's your next game. Let me pull this up. -1.5 for the Chargers is -112, +1.5, -108, -126 money line for the Chargers, +108 for the Colts, over 48.5, and is -110 both ways. How are we feeling about this game?
My lean here is the Colts. My lean here is the Colts. I would take the money line here. I think that this is going to be a Jonathan Taylor game. The Chargers are massively good against the pass versus the rush. The rush they can be got in the run game, and I think they're going to control the clock because of it. And because they have the quarterback that they do in Daniel Jones, it's going to keep them honest as far as the RPO plays. He's going to be able to get some yardage. I think Taylor's going to be able to get some yardage. He's going to be able to keep Herbert off the field. I know that Vidal had a really good game last week. He was cooking last week. I don't know if that's just, hey, surprise, I'm in here, I'm doing the thing. I don't think we have enough history to suggest that he can have back-to-back games like that. And because of that, I think the offense is going to suffer a little bit. And I'm gonna go Colts money line here, and I'm gonna take Jonathan Taylor's over on the yardage. You might freak out a little bit. It is 88.5, but that's just a testament to how good the Chargers are against the pass. They're like top 10 against the pass, but when you look at them against the rush, they are bottom half of the league. So I'm gonna take Jonathan Taylor's over on the yardage. I think he gets a buck, and they win the game. Close.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think more than that, I just love the over in this game, bro. I think it might be the same score as the Cardinals game. 31-27, 31-28. Like, I think it's going to be just both teams. I'm not impressed with either defense, really. I think the Chargers have a good defense, but it's just like banged up, and it's going to be that way the whole year. I think like Herbert's had a rough couple weeks, but I thought he bounced back great last week. I think we're going to see a bunch of points, man, and I'm really looking forward to it. All right. I do feel bad for having to rush this show. It just is what it is tonight. We're starting late, and it is what it is. So we're not going to do a full breakdown. We have 2 more games that we were going to get to. But really quickly, Joe, Tampa Bay, Detroit. Detroit is -5.5, which to me is way too. I don't care who's hurt for the Bucks. That's too much. Especially after watching what the Chiefs did to them on Sunday night. I think that's too many points. And San Francisco is favored against the Falcons, who I am out on. But when I see the Falcons +108 on Sunday Night Football, I kind of like that value. Where are you at? Super quickly, we'll get through this. Tampa Bay, Detroit, and Atlanta, San Francisco.
Yeah, listen, I'm feeling Atlanta. I think their defense is legit. I think it'll travel against San Francisco. So put me in for Atlanta on that plus value. I'm going to take the under on the passing yards on whatever quarterback is showing up that day because Atlanta's first against the pass on defense. So as far as Tampa Bay, Detroit, my lean is taking the points on Tampa Bay. I'm going to take that 5.5 because I also agree. I think it should be closer to 3 than it should be closer to 6, especially given that Tampa Bay has been a little bit unhealthy for the last couple of games, missing a running back, missing wide receivers. So 5.5 is too rich for me. I'm going to take the points and give me Cade Otton over 40.5 yards. They have literally no wide receivers. So with that being said, it's going to be Tez Johnson and it's going to be Cade Otton, and he's going to cook.
I love it. I love it. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate it so much. We'll be back next week. Normal time, Wednesday, 6 p.m. We'll be back once again. Total Apex Sports, Total Apex Media, first round collectibles, promo code sports10 for up to 60% off your order. Minimum 10%, maximum 6%. This has been a lot of fun. Please come back tomorrow. Joe has the night off, but me, my buddy Tom, and Andre is back. If you remember from the Bucks Across Borders days, he is back. We're going to be talking baseball, 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a wonderful time, and we'll see you next time.